never before has a film presented such an unexpected turn in a narrative so quickly. This is definitely the case with House, which is a film that I found quite enjoyable. This was released in 2018, directed by Anthony Scott Burns, written by Nathan Parker, and based on an original motion picture, Ghost from the Machine, by Matt Osterman. I am not aware of Ghost from the Machine. Maybe I will check it out and see how it compares. But with Our House, I will say the title's rubbish. I think the title of this film is not engaging, not captivating, doesn't really reflect the narrative. But apart from that, I actually kind of like it. The description from IMDb doesn't give anything away, and this is as follows. A young genius accidentally invents a device that amplifies the paranormal activity within his family's house, possibly bringing back spirits of loved ones and unleashing things far worse. He is actually trying to create wireless electricity, which is an interesting concept and something that, quite frankly, I feel people will be trying to do at this moment. But obviously that goes wrong, and he ends up creating a portal for the paranormal. And as much as paranormal films can kind of bore me if they're very similar to other films, I like the way that it utilised the atmosphere. You know, it's not like poltergeists, it's more of just an eerie presence in the air. And some, you know, what's being transmitted wirelessly. I think that's a very real concern a lot of people have. I don't care. I personally do not care. But I know a lot of people are very wary of, you know, smart devices and this increase in wireless transmissions, even though, of course, wireless transmissions have been around for decades and decades. But I kind of like that concept of paranormal entities being given power due to, you know, wireless connectivity. It is more in depth than that. It's not just a group of friends creating a paranormal presence. There is a more emotional backstory to it, which is something that I was really impressed with, because a lot of contemporary paranormal films just don't bother with that. From a personal perspective, I will say I don't like it when my horror films are quite as emotional as what this was, but it is marketed, at least on IMDb, as a drama horror. And so the film itself is about an hour and a half, and I'd say the first 45-50 minutes are not scary at all, but they're suspenseful. You know something bad is going to happen. And, you know, early on something bad happens, but you know something else is going to happen. And there is a young girl in this. Our protagonist's sister Becca, played by Kate Moyer, absolutely fantastic performance. When there's a child in it, you know there's always going to be a real danger there. And as the narrative progresses, which I think it progresses really well, it does begin to get a little bit scarier. And around the halfway mark, the horror elements pick up. And like every horror film, there are a few jump scares. But for me, it's more eerie. It's the suspense. The music is brilliant. The sound effects, it all works really well. Visually, the way the paranormal aspect is represented, I think, works really well, given the way that these are transmitted through this, you know, accidental wireless amplification. It looks like, you know, if I'd shut my eyes and tried to imagine what I think that would look like, I feel like it's spot on. So for me, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't scary that much. Towards the end, it got quite loud in a very imposing way, and there was a danger to one of the characters, and there was a lot of uncertainty, and that emotional element from the beginning was still pulled through with the identities of the paranormal presence. I won't say any more about that, but I will think kind of the climax of the film worked really well. It pulled everything together and gave, for me, a really satisfying conclusion. I would not say that this is purely a horror film, because the horror takes a while to get going anywhere. Definitely a mystery, very thought-provoking, very interesting. It's something that I think will be very relevant as the years... Now, I'm not saying that technology companies are trying to make smart homes to project the paranormal, but if it's something that you're wary of, then yeah, maybe this will have a stronger effect on you. I enjoyed it, not what I expected, not purely a horror film, but it's something that I would happily watch again.